You guys have been with me now for about 4 or 5 months. So if not a lot longer for some of you. But that's the whole point of that meditation. I'm going to be posting that link in the homework so you can always come back to it anytime you need to. And there's an element of surrender in every single thing that we do every day. Remember, 2 inspired actions. Inspired actions. And also remember the strategic strikes that we talked about. So now, I'll jump into some content. I want you guys to jump in and interrupt me anytime you feel like you want to interrupt, because that's the whole point. So we're going to do, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. Where am I? What's happening? Will Nick ever master his tech? Don't worry, Nick. Here's the unit credit, by the way. Don't worry, Nick. You only have 8 people fucking waiting for you. They waited for you for 10 minutes because you had a kid's thing, and now you're dealing with tech issues. And who the fuck do you think you are that people have to wait for you all the time? I love you. Thank you for bringing that up. Doesn't serve me right now, so I'm going to let you go. And that doesn't help me share my screen any quicker. Or does it, right? All right.
No, apparently it does.
I don't think it does, though. I don't think it does, Michelle. I don't think it does. All right. Who here has seen this before? And this is RA Accelerated, but it's Life Unlimited is what we're doing. How do I do a slideshow? Come on. Oh, here we go. This button that says slideshow. Okay, cool. All right. Who remembers this? Anybody? Okay, a few people. Some people were watching. Some people were paying attention. So just some reminders before we jump into some different kind of routines that we are going to be expected to do. So we've gone through most of this already. So this is all a system and a process that you've already heard piecemeal from a whole bunch of different people in a whole bunch of different places. You heard this at the weekend. You heard this in the REI Accelerated calls, and you've already heard this in the Life Unlimited calls. But we're putting it all together for you to make sure that you're aware, because I'll tell you right now, during the low points in my life, even, by the way, when I thought that I was crushing it in finance, right, and everything else was spiraling out of control, even in those moments, you might have heard this, there is no certainty but my own path. And each one of you has the same thing. There is no certainty except what you do for you every single day. So embrace the temporary states of chaos and just know that if you do the same 8 things every single day, you're doing things right. You're showing up for you and you're showing up for other people in the best way you possibly can. If you do nothing else with your day. But I bring all this up. We're not in the framework yet. You remember this. This is our relationship with money as we go up the chain. And it's no coincidence this is an arrow going up, because as Michelle had mentioned earlier, vibrational level. You will only get to the top where money is freedom once you align yourself with somebody, right, where money doesn't matter. And there's a version of you out there where money doesn't matter. There's a version of you out there that's not surviving. So what does that person look like? What are their habits and routines? Do they start their day off with gratitude? How stressed are they? Is it a different kind of stress, different problems? Do they spend more or less time with the people they love? That's how you get into that vibrational alignment every single day. The more you bring it to you, similar to a vision board, right? So here are some things that you already know, right? Live your life by design, not by default. So we're going to play this game. We're going to play this game knowing that time, not money, time is your most valuable asset, right? They always say time is money. No, time is your most valuable asset. So here's the REI Accelerated framework, which maybe a few of you have seen, but maybe a few of you haven't. So the whole goal of taking this beautiful Excel sheet, Brandon, this is what you and I were mentioning yesterday. I had a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Excel sheet, because Excel sheets are always perfect and right, and everything works. The whole world works in Excel sheets. Can we all agree, right? Excel sheets are never made up. They always work exactly as they're supposed to. They execute really well.
I can attest. That is 90% of what my job. I said that is 90% of what my job tries to fix.
Yes, sir. Mine as well, right? The banker turned real estate investor, and I became an expert at spreadsheets all over the place. But here's what the G5 framework was, right? Notice the gets. The gets are the toughest parts. The gets are just you turning yourself into a getting machine, getting deals, getting income. It's active income is what we're focused on here, right? So from years 1 and year 2, we focus on get. And in year 3, we move into grow. Some of you here are already into the grow phase. House hacking is grow, right? But what is the fastest, the reason why we preach real estate as an income stream? What's the fastest way to passive income and the fastest way to financial freedom? Is a shit ton of active income. Yeah. So that's why, right? We help with wholesaling, we help with rehabbing, we help with agency. More on the wholesaling and rehabbing side. But so here are the primary targets. And again, we're moving into accelerated right now in finance. But the whole point is I want you guys to be reminded of the finance game and knowing that the finance game cannot be won without your other F's being in line. So for year 1, our only goal is to get you to 100K in extra active income. That's the only goal. You can do that with 1 deal, 2 deals, 3 deals, 10 deals. Does not matter. And by the way, the first 6 months when you start a new identity, you start a new job, you start a new corporate structure, especially when you're setting one up for yourselves, it takes a solid 3 to 4 months to even get your first check. Then you start building momentum. But this is the hardest piece. This is the piece 2. So after you do year 1, year 2, we have 500K in here because it was easier. 450 was the actual target in the Excel spreadsheet. Forget why we actually had 450. But 450, once you reach 100K in extra income in your real estate game, 450 becomes a lot more achievable. And then you start to work on your grow, taking your active income and putting it into passive income investments. Finally, year 3, you're going to be scaling and buying your time back. Your goal for year 3 is to get you to 10,000 a month in passive income. Work less than 20 hours a week is year 4. And then in year 5, by the way, we're doing this the whole way through. Years 3 through 5, we're doing guarding and gaining. Guarding is more insurance products. It's insurance. It's different kinds of insurance, understanding how they can be used as investment vehicles. It's understanding how to shield all of your income from the IRS taxation. And then we move into gain. You should be doing this all along too. That's your fund targets. What are you doing now? What will you do in year 3? What will you do in year 5? And what will you do in year 10 to treat yourself, to treat your family? So you all know all this. We've already been through all this before. So what we're going to go through today is a routine. And then we're going to kind of blow through this because it's easy to say. It's much more difficult to implement as a habit or a routine. I believe, who said it earlier? Well, Brandon, you and I had a one-on-one conversation about your routine, right? And getting off your routine, and for you specifically, losing sleep a lot, right? Oh, did you share that with the group earlier?
Share what?
Well, Michelle, he's back on his sleep schedule. He started taking magnesium. That's awesome, right?
Oh, that's awesome. That's dynamite. That's all it took?
It's better. It's not perfect, but I'm getting like 6 hours, 7 hours maybe.
I love that. Is it, are you taking pills or powder and water?
It was the little capsules.
Oh, nice. Okay. You'll have to text me offline so I can get some of that stuff.
Yeah, seems to be working. Helping.
Good for you.
Grabbing the stuff. So here are the 8 things, you guys. And you already have heard all this, but we're going to put it into a usable action plan for you. And remember, these are going in order. The king eats first. What does that mean? You need to connect with yourself every single day. This is the only segment that should be a non-negotiable for you. This is how you take care of your loved ones. This is how you get your finances in order. This is how you accelerate and become and have the freedoms that you need. You have to first master this, and you master this. The mind and the heart. So what does that mean? It doesn't have to take 3 hours. We already talked about meditating, right? 5, 10, 15 minutes. Your goal is to do at least a 15-minute something. You can walk out in nature with 0 audio. You can do a guided meditation on YouTube, right? There's different apps, Insight Timer, Sync Tuition, right? Throw out some other apps. What do you guys use? Or how do you connect with
YouTube.
yourself? A better idea. How do you connect with yourselves every day?
I use Insight Timer. I use YouTube. I use Hollow. That's another one, and I use the Secret app also.
Okay, good. Good. Here's a beautiful goal for all of you. At the end of year 1, by the way, as you heard, the thoughts will continue to come. If you're new at meditation, or if you've been doing it for 6 or 8 or 10 months, the thoughts always come. They don't stop coming. But the point is who's observing the thoughts? I wonder what my next thought will be. That becomes a very fun question that you get to play with your brain. What's the next thought going to be? What's next? This is kind of cute. Oh, that's cute. That just popped in there. Okay, what's next? Becoming the observer for 15 minutes. And as you continue to do this practice, and that's all it is practice, you'll start to get things called downloads. You will start to get ideas. You will start to all of a sudden see a flash of something, or hear something, or understand something. Clairsentient, clairvoyant, this is all crazy stuff that people can say it's only from psychics. No, it just comes from people who've learned how to be the witness and quiet their mind. And that's what the divine's putting you here for. Next,
Actually, do you mind if I jump in for 1 sec?
Get in there.
I was going to say, do you mind if I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
So that being said, I'm so glad you said that. I did my late posting on the 5Fs on Facebook, but I'll reiterate it here. So I got not certified, but I learned TM, or transcendental meditation, a few years ago. Is anybody familiar with that?
Nope.
Yeah, you are, Nick?
Go ahead. Well, go ahead. Yeah, share it.
Yeah. And so for those of you that don't know, so it's different than mindfulness. You actually think about a mantra, so you get, you have to take a course or whatever, and they give you I guess there's certain mantras that you can choose from, and they're mantras, they're sounds, they're not words, because they don't want you to focus on the words. So it gives your mind a vehicle, because you're thinking about the mantra. So it gives your mind a vehicle to actually just occupy itself. And that way, when thoughts come in, you're not angry with yourself for damn it, did I leave the iron on? You know what I mean? Oh, I had a fight with my wife or my husband. You can let the thoughts come in, but then you go back to the mantra. The mantra is what keeps you, sort of on point. I let it go for a long time, and I just started getting back into it, and I noticed results immediately. In fact, that's what I did right before I got on the call again. I tried to do it this morning and I just didn't. And so it allows your left and your right hemispheres in your brain to synchronize. And for someone like me that has ADHD, it's very powerful. And so I've been re-educating myself, going to tm.org and rereading about it and this and that. And so I need to get a handle on my brain. But mindfulness, as much as I love it, and listening to those meditations with the headphones, I don't get enough out of it. It's good in the moment, but I need something that's going to sink deeper to get those synchronicities that you're talking about, Nick. And it's mind blowing. And you're supposed to do it twice a day for 20 minutes. Once can be phenomenal, but twice is really where the game changer is at. So I'm trying to commit to twice a day, even for 15 or 20 minutes, because it allows you to stay more centered, to get more divine downloads and more intuition, and just to stay grounded in a different way than anything I've ever experienced. So if anyone is curious, I can send them some info.
I love that. I mean, because we're a deep group here too. I just got into mantras. My friend Ali, who I think, Michelle, you might have met. Mantras and vocal. It's not about the words, it's about the sounds. This is kind of cool. Do you all know how the pyramids were made? We just matched our vibrations back in the day with the sound of the rocks, the vibrations of the rocks. That's how they moved it. It's been proven now. So that's with the vowels. I-O-U, right? A-I-O-U, right? That's the vowels. So when you learn, that's how they did it back then. They were very well connected to the elements. They were very well connected to themselves. We just lost all that with electronics and the Western civilization and all that stuff. It's crazy. So I'm going to just move on just in the sake of time, but we're meditating or connecting with ourselves once a day. The goal is 15 minutes. Journaling once a day. What's the quickest app ever, Dickens? What do you use?
A 5-minute journal.
5-minute journal. 3 things I'm grateful for, and my top 3 priorities for the day, and 1 affirmation. It can be that simple, that quick, right?
And you review it at night.
Go ahead.
And the 5-minute journal, and at night they allow you to review your day. And there's one more thing. I think there's 2 tasks every night, and that's it. And it's rewarding when you close your circle every day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder. It's an electronic device, so it can ping you and remind you to do it, right? When our brains forget. So you can just do as simple as that. 5-minute journal, which is an app on your phone. It's a free app. Or what we do remember when we started doing at the beginning of this pod, right? What is the underlying story? Right? What's the underlying story between why we feel sad or angry about what just happened? Why? What's the expectation that we have for ourselves? What was the thing that we were brought up with? Well, we're supposed to keep a clean house. So my wife has it all met. She loads the dishwasher like a rabid raccoon. I get angry. Right? And that's the case. So what is that, right? These are dumb things, but there's bigger and deeper things like, oh my God, how possibly can I balance my workload as an entrepreneur and show up for my wife and show up for the kids and show up for myself? It's completely impossible. Well, the stories behind that is, well, what does it even mean to show up for those people? Right? This was where Eric was going. What does it even mean to show up for them? Is it possible for him to show up for his family while he's not even in the state? And what does that look like? We can shift any story that we need to shift. All of these paradigms are shiftable. So that's second thing. If you want to go deep in journaling, you start to go through your triggers, right? And if any one of you need a trigger to journal about, remember how we do this, the opposite story, right? So here's one for every one of you. If you're listening to this on the recording, you're listening to it live, right? I am not enough. You can all go through the exercise. I am not enough. What's the evidence to support that story? Remember, that's the second question. And then it goes into, well, what would be the opposite story? I am enough. Is there evidence to support that story? Well, there could be, but are you absolutely sure that that initial story that you said is true? Is there any instance where that could not be true? Well, I guess I have people on this earth that love me, although I don't know why. Okay. Well, what does that mean? What does that look like? Is that evidence to the opposite story or not? What would it look like in your life if you didn't believe in this initial story? What feelings, thoughts, actions, or emotions come up when you think of the initial story? What feelings, thoughts, actions, emotions come up when you feel about this new story, this opposite story? Which of these stories serves you better right now in your life? This is journaling to a T. So there are people, Gordon and myself included, that I don't do it every day. I know he says he does it every day. I think he probably does. But that's called, what we call that a stacking. And that's something that if you want to attack every single paradigm or every single story that you have in your life right now that you think is serving you, but you're realizing, well, shit, I can't get past a certain point in my life. This is going to be how you resolve that. You identify the story first, and then you start to prove why that's not true, because nothing is 100% true in our life with these stories. All right, we're going to blow through fitness because this is easy. We do have bodies. We're divine beings sent by God in the universe to grow and expand in this life, but we have bodies. It's pretty cool, right? We get to touch stuff and walk around and be healthy and not healthy, right? As poor Seth knows, everything else kind of gets put on hold when you can't breathe. I mean, amen. I've been there too. So for fitness, we have to take care of our bodies. Number one, doesn't matter how it happens, we have to sweat once a day. Could take you 3 minutes, could take you 25. How do you sweat for yourself every single day? Right? HIIT workouts, cardio workouts. You go into a sweat lodge, however you want to do it. Sweating was the number one with the thing that activated all the, and Michelle could probably speak to this more than I could, but it activates all the hormones and the chemicals and all the things that flush through your system. Right? And fitness also supplements. What this means is some of you don't even know what's happening inside your body, especially us men, because we're, well, a lot of times maybe we're scared to even look. We haven't had a doctor's appointment or blood work done in years and years and years and years. But the goal here is to understand what's happening within your blood, to have it tested at least once a year, and know, right? Just know what it needs. So I'm going to skip over this one. Here's our family or our friends, right? Our third F. These are 2 actions you can take every single day. And what an absolute gift for you now, Michelle. You have 3 people at least that you get to share with every single day. You send one loving message a day to a loved one or partner, or to kids and a friend. And this is, by the way, just like Eric, just like all of us, we're doing this with absolute zero intent of getting anything in return. In fact, we're doing this even if, or especially if, they come back with a negative response. The hell is this? What do you want from me? Right?
That's my
what do you
mother.
want from me? What is this? There it is. Right? There it is.
Yeah.
Nothing, Mom. Just letting you know I love you. Right? And you have to turn
and
the
not
rest
taking it personally. That's the key. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was going to say not taking it personally, because sometimes depending on where I'm at, I'm triggered, and it brings me right back to now I'm a little girl. To, oh, here we go again. You know, you fucked up again, Michelle. You can't do anything right, blah, blah, blah. Even though I know better and I know it's her dementia, it's still, you know, it's amazing at 52 how it brings you right back sometimes.
Oh, yeah. And that's something that's the part of the healing though, Michelle, right? The healing that we're all doing and Brandon's doing, like, that's something that maybe won't go away in this lifetime, that initial trigger, that initial reaction, right?
Awesome. No, I'm sorry. I had to. I'm sorry. I was like, that's fucking awesome. Thank you. Could you punch me in the face a little harder?
You're doing the work though. You're doing the heavy work on that. The only way to let that go is you have to relive and feel it as much as you possibly can, Michelle.
That's right. That and fucking plant medicine, because this shit really works.
That's the only way to do it is to relive it and feel that emotion and let it come and let it come and let it come, and don't ask it to leave and don't say it's uncomfortable, and just let it happen, right? And you're getting much, much better at that. I'm getting much better at that. But if you let that happen enough, I see walking examples every single day, me and Meg included, that the things that once triggered us deeply, profoundly, we reach, and it's not there anymore. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool. But it takes years, or sometimes it just takes 1 in 10 sessions. It all depends on who you and if you're ready to let that story go or not.
Right. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
Love you guys. So another way to make this easier, right? You send 1 message a day. It could be a text. Some people do Post-it notes. Put a Post-it on their mirror if you live with your partner, your friends, or your kids, right? Put a Post-it with just a little affirmation or a nice little message for someone in there, right? Or it's an email, or it's a quick little video message, right? Here's the thing. If you have nothing else that you can say that's loving, or just one thing of gratitude. I think I mentioned to you guys before, and if I didn't, I'll say it here. When I was at the absolute worst place in my divorce, I had someone that told me, and she was trying to have me arrested. She was obviously trying to take everything, the businesses, the houses, the kids, the money, everything. And I had someone tell me, you send her a gratitude letter. I was like, are you fucking out of your mind?
That was what my question was going to be. Is and what was your response? It was like mine earlier. Yep.
Are you out of your goddamn mind? You have any idea? And so, right? But just like in this program, I did what I was told, because I had faith. And of course, the response came back with, what is this? What is your intent to, here? Like, you're defrauding me. I forget what she said, but it didn't matter. Like, and I wrote back saying, there's no intent. And lots of vile hatred stuff came back, and I just let it go. And then my coach then made me send her 1 gratitude letter a day for 7 days.
Wow. Wow. That must have been like swallowing broken glass.
But what a beautiful, beautiful exercise it was, because by the 7th day, right, I had to look for 7 wonderful things, right, that I appreciated about who she was, about what we had together, about whatever it was. And every single one, and she stopped responding, of course, right? Because she didn't know what the hell it was. Like, she was confused. But here's the point. It wasn't even about her, right? This was about me going into a different vibration. It's about me taking the story and changing the whole story. You know, this isn't happening to me, it's happening for me. And this person, this wonderful person was in my life for so many good reasons, right? And I was in her life for some good reasons. This is the whole difference in the story. So what a beautiful, and if we take that exercise, and that's the whole reason why I had all of you send a gratitude letter to yourself, because that inner critic is so damn strong, right? What if we sent ourselves a gratitude letter every single, or just a note every single day for 7 days? You're doing really, really good today, Scott. Or you're talking even better. We talked to our child, Scott, right? Little Scott, you're doing great. Everything you're doing right now is everything you're supposed to be doing. I know it seems hard. I know it's overwhelming, but you're really doing a friggin' great job. It's a powerful, powerful statement when we start talking to our childhood selves. So I want to spend some time on this because it could be as simple as just writing a note to the people in your household, or writing a text message, or writing this and that. Or you can make this really, really impactful, right? With other people. And you're not even doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself. Cool. I'll leave it there. Finances, money and message, money and message. So after you have those first three taken care of, we then move into finances. After you have those first three taken care of, so, and I'm going to make this simple. You don't have to read the screen. Money. How can you add value to others today? That is what money is. The secondary question is, right? So how can we bring in the energy of money today? Well, the answer to that is, how do we add massive value to others today? I'm going to put this one more, because if you did your Sunday planning session, you have your priority set for finances. So what's going to be an action that moves your needle? That's the money target. What's one action that will move your needle this week? And if you're having trouble finding that action, that's when you ask yourself, how can I add massive value to others this week? Because that's going to be what opens up the possibility of that money energy coming into your world. All right. Moving into message. This is Dickens's for the year. Stop hiding, to all of you. Every single one of you should be posting on social media every single day. I hate social media. Yeah, me too. Do it anyway. Post and ghost, everybody. Post and ghost. Well, you don't have to do that, but you know what I'm saying? You're on there for you. You're not on there for other people. And you're not just posting wins. You're not just posting what you're doing in your real estate agency business that day. You're not just you're posting your journey through the hard stuff and the happy moments. You're posting your journey about, oh, fuck, I was not a mother 3 months ago, and now I'm a mother to my mother, and I'm a mother to 2 boys. You're posting about, wow, a year ago, I didn't understand what real estate even was, and now I'm responsible for moving into a different version and higher version of myself. I have a whole different morning routine. I have run 100 and freaking miles, and I'm trying to build another 8 to 16 units into my portfolio this year, and I'm taking care of my girlfriend's taxes, and I'm making sure she knows that money is not even real. Holy shit, how do I do all that? But I know that's the higher version of me, says Brandon. Executing and ultimately having this beautiful morning routine. Brandon, you see how this can have you, just like you felt 6 months ago, having it be on fire. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the 4 priorities, which we talked about, right? So that's all that money and messages. That's it. What's one thing I can do to move the needle this week? And if I don't know what that is, right, you go back to your vision exercise and just say, well, how can I add value to people this week? And then message. You're posting every single day. If you don't know what to post about, you say, I don't know what to post, but I can't break my habit because I'm a person of habits and routines, and I am my habits. Therefore, here's my post today. Here's a random picture of my living room. And I don't want to post today, but I'm going to post anyway because I'm a habitual creature. And you don't even have to respond to any of the comments if you don't want to. You're doing it for you. And here's the beautiful part. All part of your Sunday planning. We call this a general's tent. Fun self-love. What did you plan for yourself this week, and what can you plan for the future for you or your loved ones or friends or whatever it might be? I think you guys know I have a whole list going in Google Tasks. I want to pet wolves. I just wanted to hang glide. You guys might have seen I did that finally in Florida, right? I wanted to do that for a while. I wanted to skydive. I did that. Like, I wanted to learn how to fly a helicopter. I tried that and then realized that that was way more terrifying than I ever thought possible. I'm not doing that ever again. But there's cool stuff. You're human. You can live. You can do fun things. You can go and rent an Italian villa, right? And if you don't have the money yet, just because you haven't gone to that vibrational alignment of attracting the right amount of it yet, that's okay. You take the moments. You go to the walk in nature. What else can you do for you? And self-love. So, intentional main target. So what we're going to show you now, and I know we're just about at time, but I'm going to show you now what you all have access to already. And that's this guy. Whoop. Scott, you're welcome. Another Excel sheet. You all see this because we did this the first 2 or 3 sessions, yes? This was your targets. If you go over to a daily tracker, that's the tab down here, you can see, look at that. We even tried to make them all have alliteration so you could try to remember these frameworks, right? Sweat and sustenance, love and life, memoirs and meditate. Like, it doesn't matter what we call it. So if your brain needs to have a game played with it, and most of us do because we're human, you can make it a point system. You can put little points in for yourself every single time you do one of these things on a day-to-day basis, to the point where you do the sweat, sustenance, love life, memoirs, meditate, study, and share. Oh, and by the way, you get points to reframe a story or to attack one of your stories every single week, every single day, if you choose to do that. You also get a point just to give yourself points. Am I keeping score? And if you're keeping score and you log into this on a day-to-day basis, this is the thing that Gordon and I continuously work on making an app for you. We actually had 2 apps built. And then you guys know us now. One of our beautiful moments about who we are is we sometimes seek, we no longer seek perfection, but we have some serious deep-seated issues when it comes to, no, this isn't good enough. We have to scrap the whole thing and redo it. It's not healthy. But at the same time, this is the crux of what this mobile app is going to do. You'll be able to have this on your phone and be able to check boxes, right? And here are certain the things. All the yellows are what you move into here. And by the way, with all the stuff you already did, because you all made copies of this already, see these yellows? They filled in automatically based on what you put here in your targets all the way at the bottom. See these yellows? They go all the way over here, right? Fitness outcome review. They go all the way to faith outcome, right? What are my primary mission targets? Did I give my family space, time, and attention? Here's just, you can do self-scoring here out of 5. Did I plan on going on a date night? Did I make time for fun and badassery? Did I rest, recover, and reset this week? It's time for me. Did I add value this week? Rise and do some hard shit. And do you get 120 every single week? The answer, it's impossible. We don't seek perfection, we seek progress. The whole point of this, though, right, is that you also have seasons. And this is something I didn't learn. When this first came into my life about 4 or 5 years ago, and I modified it and made it mine and tried to fix it and do all the stuff that I needed to do to it, we had a mantra. It was 120 or die. Very masculine energy. If you do not hit your 120 points this week, what was the point of living? I think you all know now that I feel like I'm a lot more knowledgeable and a lot more smarter, and I know that we all give ourselves some grace, because that's just that inner critic and that harsh voice once again coming to the table. So for you, and we won't even have to get deep today, where I could share with you that the whole calendar that's made, the 12-month calendar, is not even real, and it was built to just collect taxes in Roman times. And you even can tell that, by the way, by looking at the months. October, Oct 8, September, Sept, right? What's Sept? 6, 7? Where the hell that is, right? December, Dec 10, not 12. The clues are right there. but it was made to collect taxes. We were supposed to go by what the solstices and the moons are. That's how they built the pyramids back in the day. So knowing that, we have seasons. Brandon, Scott, Dickens, Michelle, Seth, Jack, right? Everyone here has seasons. Sometimes you'll be in a season of being on top of everything and getting that 120 every single week. And sometimes you're just not going to be in it. And can you give yourself grace when you're in a season of fall or winter and you're not necessarily in your season of spring and summer where you're creating? Or maybe your production seasons are fall and winter and you hibernate during spring and summer. We're human, so we're all different. But I want to make that clear. My job as a guide is to give you the tools. My job is also to be gentle when I push you guys because I can see the higher version of the people in this pot. But I will not force you to drink the water. If this one does not serve you, or if it's just two numbers, two Excel, and you don't like the Excel piece of it, here's another Excel.
Just in case.
Just in case. You know, there's a lot less colors and stuff, but you can do something like this, right? So here's just like some updates. You can just give yourself ones and zeros, ones and zeros, ones and zeros. But make this one
love
yours.
that. Do I have access to that? Because the other one keeps me up at night. I hate the other one. I'm so sorry. God forgive me. It's too busy for my mind. This is much better. I didn't know we had a choice.
You have a choice. You have a choice. So when you did the action planning, do you remember we did that? It was about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. You made a copy of this for your Google Drive. So in your copy, you have access to this as the 3rd and 4th tabs.
Okay. Perfect. Yep. Yeah, that one, I just like the way that visually that it's laid out better. Did you do this one too?
Yep. I've worked with this depending on my season, right? When I was starting out, I wanted something that was masculine and points-based. And every time I hit a point, if I hit 120, I would allow myself to do something for myself that month. That is not what I've learned was the best case scenario, right? The king eats first or the queen eats first. You guys take care of yourselves first. That gives you the space and to take care of everybody else a lot better.
Okay.
So yeah, you have access to both of these. And,
awesome. And what season were you in when you created the second one, if I may?
The second one?
The one that I like.
Yeah. I mean, I was in fall. I was in fall.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah. Yep. See, we're seasonal beings.
I like the style. Thank you.
Yeah, we're seasonal beings. So, and I think, there's a few things in here. Obviously, this is my sheet. You make it your sheet. Right? But you can see kind of what things that I was tracking on a week-to-week basis. And I want to add, there's a couple other things that I added to mine. Was my Sunday planning done? How many priorities? Am I being intentional? So that's the same stuff that's in the first one. But I wanted to retype my outcomes. Remember those be, do, haves that we do for the quarter? Be, do, have. I wanted to retype it every single week so that it was fresh in my memory. Because you know why? If I'm off target, I can choose to come back to that target. Or what if that target that I set for Q1 didn't actually serve me, even though I thought it did, to get me closer to my goal? I can take that moment and pivot that target, right? 3 things that went well, 3 things that didn't. 1 big win, there's our check-in. And I would always give myself a weekly parable. You guys get to write your own scripture. You get to write your own little Bible for yourselves that you can have in here and actually watch yourself grow and expand into the next version of you. That's the parable, right? The parable could be something like, I can pull up my old one. I'm trying to think like the I am enough is a very heavy one, but it can just be as simple as I showed up this week for me, right? I showed up for my loved ones this week. Or I don't have to do everything. Right? Or small strategic strikes. Right? It can be whatever parable that you want, or just a word. Right? And then here's the priorities for the next week. Then I move from my last week reviewing and moving into the next week. What are my plans? What's my primary target, secondary, tertiary? Other targets, what do I want to do? And here I have quickest access to King Cash, which for you could just be, what's the fastest way you could bring money energy into your world, right? And if you're having trouble coming up with that, how can I add value to people this week? And for me, I had date nights that I had to plan, family nights that I had to plan, fun that I had to plan, rest that I had to plan. Why do I have to plan rest time? Scott, Brandon, Seth, y'all know. We have to put that in our freaking calendars? I did. I'm guessing you might have to do that to start. But it's an incredible switch. So as I'm here, and I'm still in a winter season for me, it's an incredible switch because as I moved into doing this complete uncomfortable thing for me, which was to take that 1 hour and do nothing every single day, right? After my meditation, after my connection, after my journaling, after my fitness. God, it feels so freaking awkward. But isn't that the point? To become the opposite version or to become a different version of a person that you are. Kind of like brushing your teeth. Whoever brushes their teeth in here with their right hand, use your left for a week. You become a different person. Changes your brain. Changes the neurons, the pathways. And that's all we're doing here is training the brain to match our new spirit, our new heart, or who you desire to be. So that was a lot. Who here has questions for that?
Pretty sure going through it, I would have questions.
Of course you will. This is why we have the Facebook group and the WhatsApp channel, man.
Question is that it's recommended to do when we're doing weekly planning on Sunday?
This is your weekly planning. Your weekly planning is going from just setting your 4 priorities. You don't have to do this. My job is to give you the tools to do this. My job is to show you that in order to win, you do have to keep score. So to be in a production mindset, but not just in finance. This is production in every F that you have, every element of your life. And there will also be weeks where you say, fuck it. There have been weeks that I say, fuck it. My job as a guide or as an accountability coach is to not have you say, fuck it twice in a row. I'm okay if you say, fuck it once and you vent and lean in and show your vulnerability and say what's going on in your life for that Sunday. You miss 2 Sundays in a row, that's your new habit. Is not doing this. Is not showing up for you and your loved ones in a beautiful way. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be the sheet, you guys. I just want to give you this tool. So this one automatically will fill in for you based on what you popped in for your targets over here and your outcomes. That's why you all have access to this sheet. But if you don't want to use this one, you don't have to. This is just your tool. And that's your only, you don't have to worry about letters this week. You don't have to worry about writing someone else a letter unless you want to, right? You're seeing how powerful that is. Your goal is to start committing and starting to keep score for yourself. So out of these items, right? These are the main ones. These are the main 8. Sweat, sustenance, love life, memoirs, meditate, study, share. Or, right? Sweat, supplements, whatever we said before. Love message number 1, love message number 2. Journaling, meditation. And then, it's not study and share. I'm going to change. I don't like study and share. Money and message. Money and message. Y'all staring at me now. You okay with this? How are we feeling?
Yeah.
Give me some takeaways. Brandon, what's your takeaway?
Question.
Yeah.
What do you mean by money? Money message. Money.
Money. Remember that? What's the one thing that I can... Are you still seeing my screen here?
Yep.
What's the one thing that's going to move my needle forward this week?
Okay.
Right? What's the one thing that's going to move my... Or if you don't have any of those things, what's one way I can add value to people this week? If you're having trouble, here's another one. Investigate something new, create or execute on something. Right? Learn something new. So money and message. That's typically going to be your primary finance target. So whatever your finance priorities are, right? What's your top priority? That's your money. What is my priority today if my 4 for the week were X, Y, and Z, 1, 2, 3, 4, what's the one thing I can do today? Just like you're still doing your other priorities. What's the one thing I can do today to move my faith forward? One thing to move my family and loved ones forward. All clear?
All clear.
I appreciate you guys for bearing with me while I was 10 minutes late. We're about 14 minutes over here. So we did 2 hours, just 4 minutes over this time. That's all we were. I appreciate you guys. I want to have a specific call out. So Scott, I'm going to reach out to you via text message after this. And I just want to call and recognize you too, Seth, because I know it's especially hard to come back into the fray after you've been rough. So I appreciate you, and be sure to take, while you're still in your spring, right? Or whatever you want to call spring and summer, coming back into your production. So I'm proud of you for coming back to the fray.
Thank you.
No, I love it.
Appreciate it.
One thing at a time, you guys. One thing at a time. All right. I love you. And same place, same bat channel. See you guys soon.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
Good to
you.
see you guys.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.